Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're joining us. Today's mission is, well, it's literally mind-bending. We're gonna zoom way, way out from our everyday lives right here on Earth, all the way to the very edge of reality itself. Using the sources we're diving into today, we'll explore the unimaginably massive structures that make up our universe, culminating in the absolute largest things scientists have ever found. So strap in, because by the end of this journey, your perspective on our place in the cosmos is going to be completely transformed. To kick things off, let's ground ourselves in something super familiar. Think about these lines from the poem Golden Dreams and Morning Light. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, shining brightly from afar. It perfectly captures that cozy childhood sense of earthly wonder, right? You look up, the sky feels like a friendly blanket, the birds are singing, the flowers are blooming, everything just feels intimately connected to us and, manageable. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is exactly where that comforting illusion of a small, sleepy sky shatters. When you stand outside and look up at night, every single tiny star you see is just a neighbor in our own galaxy, the Milky Way. But what if that star is actually just one of hundreds of billions? What if there are structures out there so incomprehensibly massive that our entire galaxy, the whole thing, is just a speck of dust in comparison? To really wrap our heads around this, we gotta start at home. 12,742. That is Earth's diameter in kilometers. Now, when we're running around playing in the morning light, like the poem says, this size feels enormous to us. I mean, it's our entire world. But once you step back and look at the grand scheme of the cosmos, it's almost hilariously tiny. Let that sink in for a second. And then look at this number, 1.3 million. That's how many Earths you could cram inside our sun. Over 1 million of our whole worlds just swallowed up by a single totally average star. And there are hundreds of billions of those stars just in our neighborhood. So right out of the gate, at step 1, our home planet basically vanishes. Section 1, the Milky Way family and the measure of light. So the crucial point here is understanding exactly how we measure distances this vast. We absolutely cannot use kilometers anymore. The numbers would just be ridiculous. We have to upgrade our metric to the light year. And it's exactly what it sounds like, the distance light travels in one single year. To put that into perspective, 1 light year is about 9.46 trillion kilometers. Just one. Now, our Milky Way galaxy is roughly 100,000 of these light years across, meaning if you were zooming along at the absolute speed of light, the literal cosmic speed limit, it would still take you 100,000 years to get from one side of our galaxy to the other. Going back to our poem for a sec, there's that lovely line, just like stars that shine at night. It evokes this quiet, peaceful connection. And that's kind of what our solar system is doing. We're just sitting quietly in one of the Milky Way's spiral arms, minding our own business, completing an orbit around the galactic center every 225 million years. But as huge as this galaxy is, it's just a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle. Section 2. Stepping out. Clusters and superclusters. And this brilliantly illustrates the scale we're dealing with. We belong to a group of about 80 galaxies called the Local Group. But that group sits inside the Laniakea supercluster, which holds 100,000 galaxies across 500 million light-years. If you took an entire galaxy, remember 100,000 light-years wide, and shrank it down to the size of a single coin, the Laniakea supercluster would still be larger than an entire continent here on Earth. It's a completely mind-bending analogy. And get this, it's still not the biggest thing we found. When astronomers mapped out millions of these galaxies, they realized they aren't just scattered randomly. They actually form what we call the cosmic web. It's the largest pattern in the observable universe. Imagine enormous filaments of galaxies woven together like a giant glowing spiderweb, with these unbelievably vast empty regions called cosmic voids just sitting in between the threads. Section 3. The giant Hercules corona wall. Right inside that cosmic web sits the undisputed giant of today's explainer, the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. 10 billion. That's how many light years across this absolute monster stretches. Think about that. Light itself, moving as fast as anything can possibly move, needs 10 billion years just to cross from one end of the structure to the other. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth did we even find something that far away hiding in the dark? Scientists actually discovered this massive concentration of galaxies by studying gamma ray bursts. These are incredibly powerful, ultra-bright explosions in space.
By tracking these bursts of energy, they essentially lit up the dark, revealing this colossal structure.
The poem reminds us to learn new things every day, and discovering this Great Wall has literally forced astrophysicists to do exactly that. The wild part, according to our current understanding of how the universe works, a structure this phenomenally huge shouldn't even exist. It's fundamentally challenging some of our biggest cosmological theories. The universe just loves to keep us guessing. Section 4. Beyond the Observable Edge. So here's the catch with the Great Wall. It's the largest known structure, but is it the biggest thing out there? Honestly, maybe not. We're strictly limited by our viewing window. The observable universe is roughly 93 billion light-years in diameter. That is the absolute hard limit of what we can see, simply because light from anything further away hasn't had enough time to reach us since the Big Bang. Let's move to this summary and see how it all builds, because it really puts things in perspective. Look at this journey outward. We start on our tiny Earth, zoom out to the solar system, then the Milky Way, out to galaxy clusters, then the overarching cosmic web, and finally, the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. It's an incredible zoom out that really emphasizes how minuscule our everyday reality is in the grand design. Yet, even with that tiny physical size, look at what we can do. We can understand and map the cosmos. As the poem's closing lines put it, dream big in all you do. We might just be tiny inhabitants orbiting an average star, but our capacity to dream, to discover, and to figure all this out, it is absolutely boundless. Which brings us to the ultimate mystery. It's not just about what we've mapped out so far. It's about what lies out there, just past the edge of the reality we can see. So, I want to leave you with this awe-inspiring question. What do you think exists beyond the observable universe? Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible zoom out for today's explainer. Keep dreaming big and keep looking up.